Nothing will enter your mind when you're working on mandala. But still, even consciously try not to let anything disturb you. When we talk about mandala, there are a few things that you should be knowing beforehand in order to differentiate it from the rest of the art forms, right? Because we do have this confusion on what is mandala. Is it same as zentangle? Is it same as doodle? Is it same as mehendi? Is it same as folk art? No, it's not. There are multiple things that differentiate it from rest of the art forms. So I will show you that with the help of a mandala here. This is an acrylic mandala on canvas. I would want you all to keep a piece of paper with you so that you can write it down if you need. You can take down notes also. This will help you later on also. There are three typical characteristics of mandala that we should understand. The word mandala is derived from the Sanskrit word called mandal. Mandal means circle. Okay. Now, when you look at a mandala or you are working on a piece of mandala, there are three characteristics. Number one, origin, one point of origin, or at least one point of origin of your work. Number two, repetition of designs. It can be one single design that gets repeated or a group of designs that get repeated. And number three, circular essence of the work. What do you mean by circular essence? It means that even if the shape of your mandala is a maple leaf, or it is a square, or it is a triangle, if the essence is circular, or if it's a pizza, one slice of pizza, if that is also the case, even if that is the case, the periphery doesn't matter. The circular essence of your work matters. Okay. Now, these three things are going to be a part of your mandala forever. Apart from this, the philosophical value or the meaningfulness of mandala is something that differentiates it from rest of the art forms. What do we mean by this? In mandala, nothing that you make is random. Every single thing is based on meaning. Every single thing, every single stroke that you make in mandala is based on meaning. And all of these meanings are designed in a manner that it takes you on a journey inward. It is something that will always talk about optimism, positivity, of course, being rational at the same time. But it will take you to a certain land where, you know, there is very little scope for pessimism. There is very little scope for you to be disappointed. It is more about the art of life altogether. And every meaning is designed in such a manner only. So in a way, you are training your mind. We will look at these meanings. We will look at rest of the things, everything while we work on it. So as and when we start working on our piece, also keep one extra sheet where you can write down your notes if needed. Cool. Let's get started now. So for starting, you are going to need just the basic stationery, pencil, eraser, keep a pen, keep a scale, and a compass, right? These are the things that you need. Ayushi, we can change the spotlight now. Okay.
Surely, ma'am. And guys, one more thing, a request to all of you, use the chat box freely for any questions that you have, okay? And at the end, we'll have a separate Q&A, so don't worry about that, okay? So I advise everybody to be on mute. I'm muting everybody, including myself, okay? So that there is no disturbance in the flow, and enjoy the session, be interactive, and take the most out of it. Yes, Bhami ma'am, over to you.
Sure, thank you. We will first start with making our outermost circle with a diameter of approximately around 9 centimeter. Somewhere around 9 to 10 centimeter as a diameter. Nine or 10 centimeter. Keeping the center of your compass at the same place, we reduce it a little bit so that we are able to make more concentric circles from the same center point. Make these very light. This is very dark actually. It is dark so that you can see. When you are working on it for yourself, make it light. Similarly, reduce a little more, somewhere around 0.5 centimeter, say, or 0.7 centimeter, approximately. One more. Now I have reduced it a little bit and reducing it a little more. I will tell you the logic why we chose this particular distance later. What you are doing right now, you can just hear me out in the background, continue your work. So what you are doing right now is called a grid. You are actually creating concentric circles here so that you can divide them into equal parts, and that whatever designs that you make will be equal everywhere. That's what you are doing, okay? So what you are making is called a grid. And the distance between them, right now, what you took is random. There are many ways in which you can take the distance between them, depending on the design that you are choosing. Like, you can keep them all constant. For example, keeping distance between them 1 centimeter each. Or you could have taken incremental, like first one is 0.5 centimeter, then 1 centimeter, then 1.5 centimeter, incremental basically. Next one that you could have taken is the concept can be clubbed with both of them, A and B together, wherein this is the first design that you made, a little bigger, then a little bigger. So it is more like a flower is blooming, that kind of a structure. And the last one is the random, the one that you have created right now. Okay. So there are many ways in which we can proceed. We have currently started with random placement of concentric circles. That's all that you need to know. Why did we make this? Because we are working on the grid. So we are going to make these lines now. For that, make the first line in a way that it passes through the center. Very light, passes through the center. Why light? Because it is only for your reference. Continue this work and don't get stressed out if your work is not coming out in the desired manner. Not everyone here is an artist. Not everybody here has a prior knowledge in art, right? So it's absolutely okay for you to make mistakes. Mistakes will happen. It's okay. In Mandala, the process is more important than the final product. It is not the final product that you make will be of utmost importance. How you enjoy the experience of creation of Mandala is where the healing happens. Once you have made this line, you have basically divided it into two parts. Share your paper to us. Which paper? I'm not sure. Okay. Next one, we want to divide this into 4 parts, right? Right now it is 2 parts. So how we are going to place our scale is this manner. You have these lines here. Place one of them on the existing line, exactly on the center, so that it forms 90 degrees. This is a shortcut that you are using. When you're professionally doing it, there are other ways of doing it. But right now, you don't need to know all of that. This is the easiest way of doing a grid. If convinced, mark your line. Done. Is this sufficient? Is this enough? No. Of course, when I'm going to make my designs, this is way too distant from each other for it to help as a reference point, right? So we further need to make more reference lines here. Now, ignore the lower part or one section. Ignore one section. So I have the upper section here. I'm picking one quadrant. One quadrant means one out of these 4 sections. So I'm picking the left one right now. Pick any of the lines that you see. Any of the concentric lines that you see here. I'm picking this one. Notice this line and try to locate the center point. Freehand, approximation, no measurement required. Pick one line and try to locate the center. Mark a dot. Same thing on the other side also. Locate the center, mark a dot. Right? What did we do? We just hid one section so that it's not a confusion for you all. In one of the hemispheres, we have taken the left part. Yes, Menazi. So we have taken only the upper section of the hemisphere. Here on the left-hand side, pick any of the lines so that you can mark the middle point here. Similarly, on the right-hand side also, you're marking the middle point. Simple. Why are we doing that? We are doing that so that we can divide this equally into many more segments. You don't need measurements for an experience like mandala. It is okay to do it freehand also. Is this sufficient? For an average size mandala, yes, this is sufficient. If we want to make very, very intricate, this might not be sufficient then also. We will repeat the process if we want to make something very intricate. But for now, this is okay. Okay. Anyone, any questions? Drop it in the chat box. Ayushi and I will be taking care of all your questions, so don't worry about anything. I can see all of you being absolutely engrossed. Very good. No questions on your faces. So I'm continuing now. Now, there are two ways in which we build our designs in mandala. One, pick one layer, finish it off properly, go to the next one, finish it off properly, go to the next one. And the second one is figure out what design you want to make first, which means only the outlining everywhere. Finish off the outlining first and then the intricate detailings. Both are okay ways, but for some people, the former works. For some people, the latter works. For you, whatever works for you, go with that. I am going to teach you today on the latter side. So we will first mark the outlining so that we are able to figure out how it looks like, then go with the intricate detailing. All right. So when it comes to making patterns in mandala, I was telling you that there is nothing random. What does that mean? It means for the first layer, I am going to make semicircles here. Why did I choose to make semicircles? Number one, circle. What you are writing down here is the fundamental shapes of mandala. From these fundamental patterns, you derive designs. Like from the circle, you have taken this semicircle and this goes as your design. You could have elongated a little bit and that too would have been just a derivation of your core pattern, which is a circle. Repeat this exercise all over. In the meantime, can anybody here try to answer this question? Why circle? Like we said, in mandala, everything is meaningful, right? So if we are using a circle, that too has to be meaningful. So what do you think is the possible meaning of circle in mandala? You can write it down in the chat box once ready. And there is nothing like right or wrong. Feel free. Kushbu says earth. Interesting. Ayushi, will you be able to help us out?
Surely, ma'am. I was just say almost Benazir also says earth over here. Okay, universe. Somebody says universe. Sapna is saying it's universe. Okay, sun. Sujay says it's sun. Bhavni says it's chakra. Debasmita says flowers. And then we have center of mind. Okay, a lot of, ma'am, they have their own way of thinking.
Nice. By the way, we have someone called Bhamini in the workshop.
Is it?
I don't know. I just heard you saying Bhamini. Okay.
Bhavini, okay. Ma'am. Actually, we have somebody Bhavini.
Bhavini.
It's just an M. It's just an M.
All right. So the circle is something that is symbolic of the soul in mandala. Why is it symbolic of the soul? It doesn't have a starting point or an ending point. It is something which is infinite, abundant, something which is unchanged, something which can't be restrained, something which is unlimited, infinite, basically. And hence, we use this for symbolizing the soul, Soul. So every time you are using a circle in mandala, you are symbolizing the soul in mandala. Okay. From here, I would need your attention once. What we are going to do is we are going to club these two sections. So mark a dot from here. We are going to make a dome structure. In order to maintain symmetry, what you can also do is mark only left-hand side as step number 1 and only right-hand side as step number 2. So we tend to remember whatever is recent a little better. So this exercise actually quite helps people who struggle with symmetry. And mark a double line. Why double line? Double line because here you are going to make intricate designs, and when you are shading the background, etc., a lot of times the designs tend to merge into each other. In order to avoid that, double lines quite help you. So they will make sure that all the designs are intact and they look where they are placed. They don't get merged and lost in between. What you are working on right now, I mean, you do call it as a dome structure because the structure does look like one. However, in terms of the meaning associated and in terms of symbolic significance of this, what you're using is actually a lotus petal. So this shape that you are using is a lotus petal, which means being inspired by whatever you have made here or by whatever fundamental shape it is, you can use the same thing in different ways and different derivations to come up with your own designs. Like if I just change the shape a little bit or a little more or in this manner, all of these are inspirations just from the fundamental pattern. So from the fundamental pattern, you creatively make many more things which actually help you in building your designs. Right? Why lotus petal? I want you to try once again. And there was a question here. What was the question? How double line? Okay, so double line is, you have to do a double line inside here. And the reason for double line is so that the designs don't get merged with each other. I'm marking a line here in the center. And the reason for this is, on the left-hand side, I'm not sure if you're able to see. 1 second. Okay. On the left-hand side, everyone, I would need your attention. I am using a micron pen. This is a fine liner, micron. The size is 0.5. What did we do? On the left-hand side, from this portion, the reference point from here, make a spiral. Right? From this point, intersection here, from this point, start making a spiral. Why did we make this? Okay. On the other side, on the left-hand side here, simple connect. Simple connect. Connect. And the area that you get here, just darken it. you will
Ma'am,
find that.
I'm so sorry, so sorry. Ma'am, Anuja ma'am is actually asking what is the exact thing that you're using for drawing? Like the pen, I think she's asking for.
I'm using a fine liner. It is called Micron, and the nib size is 0.5. Okay. What did we do? Number 3, you used a spiral shape. The core shape is a spiral. From here, based on your requirement and the design, you converted it into a proper design, right? The only shape that you used is actually a spiral. You converted that into a design by connecting it, right? Now we were talking about the lotus. Anybody who would want to take a try at this, would you like to answer why lotus and mandala? Give it a try. In the meantime, people, lotus represents spirituality. Okay. Again, Ayushi, I think I would need
Yes,
that.
I was just about to say. Okay, ma'am, somebody says as it represents Lakshmi. Okay, it's maybe the continuation of the lotus thing. Maybe somebody has related to it. Then we have Sapna saying that it represents 7 chakras. And Priyanka says it's purity of soul. Akshaya says it's spreading. Okay. Peacefulness. And then, ma'am, somebody has written a very nice thing. It represents tradition of India.
Nice, nice, nice. Lot of people, lot of opinions, lot of perceptions. Very nice. Okay. So, Lotus, when we are talking about anything in Mandala, it will never be connected with religion or demographics. And the reason for that is Mandala is a universal art which is based on faith and not religion, which means it is going to be believed in the same way, like in India, the same way it will be in Tibet, the same way it is going to be in, say, South Africa, the same way it's going to be in Europe, because it is a universal art and the meanings remain same everywhere. Okay, so it is not typical to any particular division. Having said that, when you are making a lotus, it is talking about the origin of it basically. When you see a lotus bloom, it doesn't get affected by whatever is around it, right? So it is something which says that despite whatever circumstances I have, I still will rise and shine. I still will spread my beauty. I still will not be bothered by whatever is around me. And that is a virtue to learn, and which is why lotus is something of very high significance. Like somebody said, it is also inspired by chakras. Yes, the chakras also have a very strong influence on mandalas, on the patterns that we choose in mandalas. Absolutely correct. Okay. On the other side, right now, what we are going to do is from here, from the section here, lower section, petal, one more, and one more. If you want to make 4 petals, it's okay, but whatever you do, repeat the same count everywhere. Like I chose 3, so I'm going to repeat 3 only everywhere and shade the background. Right? So what did we do? We just made 3 petals here. That's all that we did. Everything that is extra, shade that. Why are we shading everything that is extra? You can talk about this as something related to neatness in the work also. And if you want to associate any meaning to it, that also you can say. So basically, we are shading all the negative space and, kind of keeping that away. That is also one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is because this, when you shade the background, you are able to focus exactly on the designs. Okay. In this area here, the outermost. So I'm leaving this part, area here. In the outermost part, so first mark this line. I'm going to show it to you first and then we will start. So 1 and 2. What did we do? Center point, 1 and 2. Once again, center point, 1 and 2. Simple. If anybody is finding it difficult, let me know. In the meantime, I will let you know the meaning of the rest of the things that you have used so far. So we have also used spiral in our design so far. And spiral is something that starts from one point of origin and moves. It moves in either of the directions, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, but it moves in that particular direction. So in the world of Mandala, we believe that spiral is something that talks about movement. It says that despite whatever the circumstances be, if at all there is a roadblock, if at all there is a disturbance, if at all there is something that stops me, I will still keep moving. Maybe my pace would be a little low. Maybe it will not be as swift as it was earlier, but I will continue to be persistent enough. So basically, it's all about perseverance, and it's about movement. It's about continuation. It's about being kind of gentle, still moving ahead. Now, when it is in the clockwise direction, it's a little different. When it is in the anti-clockwise direction, it is a little different. But funda is, it is about movement. No matter what direction you are using, it is about movement only. And hence, it is about life. Okay. The other one, 3 sections. Ayushi, have we missed out on any questions, or did we take all the questions?
No, ma'am. Like there was a question, like if ma'am the the shapes or the design that you're making, if it's not equal, then what, ma'am? Spandana was asking this question.
Okay, if it's not equal, see, ideally we should try for making. When you say it's not equal, are you talking about symmetry, or are you saying that the left and the right is not the same? Because both of them are 2 different things. If the left and the right radius, keep it as 4.5 or 5. So if the left and the right are not the same, it is a design. It's okay for you not to have left and the right about this as same. But if you're talking about symmetry, we should try to have as much symmetry in our work as possible. But if something is going wrong, it's okay, give it time, it will fall in place. There are a lot of ways in which we improve our symmetry. So it is okay. But try to have as much symmetry in your work as possible. When you have edges like these here, like for example, when you have edges, give it a bit of cushion, like this circle. When you give it a bit of cushion, the overall structure starts looking even more pretty.
Which paper are you using for this particular art?
I'm using Brusto paper. It is cold pressed paper, and the GSM that I'm using is 180 GSM. GSM refers to the thickness of the paper. It is gram per square meter. So if you are into art, you should be using a little thick paper, because otherwise it becomes a little difficult to manage, or the overall work starts being printed on the other side. None of them is good. So, and also if you are trying to color it, then in that case, of course, you should have a little thick paper. Double line on the other side also. Here I'm not adding question so that this gets highlighted. Like ivory sheet, sort of ivory sheet, yes. You can use Brusto paper, GSM 180 plus. So 180 plus means above 180 GSM, 180 or above 180 GSM. You can use 200 GSM, 240 GSM, or 300 GSM, depending on what is the medium that you are going to use after that. If you notice, everyone, initially when I was teaching you about the lotus, I did mention that we take inspiration from it and we convert that into our own designs, right? And that is what we have done here also. We took inspiration from lotus, and on one side it was this, and on the other side it was this. That's all that we did. Right? So you can come up with your own ideas on what else do you want to make based on this understanding. What is GSM? GSM is gram per square meter. It refers to the thickness of the paper. Okay. Now, in the area that we have left so far, I'm adding one more line so that we can use this section also for our design. How many grid lines should be there? How many vertical lines should be there? Is there any rule in that? No. The grid lines, the number of concentric circles, the distance between them, all of that depends on what kind of mandala do you want to make. If it is too intricate, go for more number of vertical lines. If it is too big, like really big, then of course this is not going to help you. Right? Okay. Now I would need everyone's attention here. Here I'm going to mark a dot so that we can make this shape. The reason for making this shape is from here, one spiral, from here, one spiral. From this corner, connect. From this corner, connect. Make a circle, shade the extras. Yes, there are. I'll come to that. So still now, all that you have used is just the fundamental shapes of mandala. Fundamental patterns, fundamental shapes of mandala. You have used spiral once again. Like I was telling you, it is about movement. Repeat this exercise. Same thing. In order to understand what you are actually doing or actually working on, you should be able to you should understand the main segregations in mandala. This one. You should understand the main segregations of mandala, and these are: number one, teaching mandala, teaching as in to teach, teaching mandala, healing mandala, and sand mandala, SAND, sand. Teaching mandala, healing mandala, and sand mandala. All of them, all three of them, revolve around the principles of mandala. However, the objective of why you are doing that, the basic agenda of doing that particular mandala changes the game and makes them as a completely different segregation. Like, healing mandala is what you are working on right now. So we will talk about that later. Teaching mandala is all about imparting knowledge. It is all about using the philosophy of mandala or the principles of mandala in order to impart a certain knowledge. For example, Surya Namaskar. The look and feel of it is everything about it is mandala based. But the purpose is completely different. The third, sorry, the third one that I mentioned was a sand mandala, SAND. Out of the three, the first one was teaching that I told about. Second one is healing that you are working on, and I'll talk about that in detail later. And the third one is sand mandala. Sand mandala, as the word suggests, sand mandala is basically a community, a group practice where a group of Buddhist monks come together in order to make huge pieces of mandala. They spend really long hours in that, huge pieces of it using colored sand or using colored sand, maybe something around 50 hours or 60 hours. And a lot of people as a community project. After the entire thing is complete, they simply erase it. And they erase it in order to understand and convey the idea of impermanence. Now, healing mandala. What you are doing right now is a healing mandala, and healing mandala is all about the process, not the final product. Of course, you are working on a piece of art, so you would want to do way more than just paint it, right? Which is why the aesthetics part of it come into picture. But the process of creation, the experience, what you learn, how you feel, what kind of, the overall gradual evolve evolution of yours as a person, or as a or growth of yours, is something that is the focus of healing mandala. The word says healing, and that is what we are trying to do right now. So every single thing about mandala is made in a manner that it keeps telling you that not everything is wrong. There is, a lot of positivity around if you try to seek for it. And since you first time when you are making this piece, since you associate it with positivity, when you associate it with calmness, every time we are coming back to it, it kind of, treats us in the same manner, and we mostly get connected with it in a same manner only. So you are basically training your mind to look at the brighter side when you are getting into a personal creative space when you are making a mandala. So a lot of people across the globe, psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, therapists, art therapists, all a lot of people and organizations and institutions, they recommend mandala as a therapy process, and this is the reason. Not just that, the shape of mandala is such that it loops you in. It doesn't let you out. It doesn't let any other thought enter your mind. And I'm sure you would have experienced this on your own in this ride. Ayushi, there is a message, I think.
Yes, ma'am, I just read that. So, Lakshmi, ma'am, the link cannot be sent. You need to rejoin back again, ma'am. Okay, just try to rejoin back. It will be sorted. Because, ma'am, I won't be able to send you the link.
Dot is the point of concentration and focus, and line is all about convergence. Is this the only way in which a mandala can be made? No. You can make mandala as a celestial mandala also. Celestial means something which is heavenly. So, like the sun mandala or the moon mandala or the star mandala. You can make geometric mandala. You can make elephant mandala. You can make butterfly mandala. You can make owl mandala. You can make lion mandala. You can make chakras mandala. You can make ornate mandala. A lot of things can be done around it. But remember always, even if you are doing this on your own, always remember, whenever you are working on this piece, it should be your own space. It should be something that gives you that enough personal window to you. Okay, we have almost come to towards finishing it off. There is some finishing touch, of course, left right now. For the time being, I want to understand from all of you, did you learn? How did it go? And we have our amazing